My name is Charlie Locke. I played right defense on the Erie Lions on the very first team in 1964. I played with Wally Walworth and Bill Smith and Fred Murray, John Claridge. We had a really great time. Well, you know, there was down near where the Glenwood ice rink is now, they had an open air rink. That's where it started. And anybody that could skate could go down there and skate. And then they started to play a little pickup hockey. And the next year after that open air rink, they built the Glenwood ice rink. And of course, you know, being from Canada, I had skated in Canada. Everybody skates in Canada. And so they started this team, and a bunch of us guys would go down there and try out for it. And it was kind of, they started it really for a youth hockey program. And the very first team that we played on, we were using the kids' equipment, except for our skates, of course. I remember the shoulder pads hardly fit. And we played Jamestown, New York in a game. And after that, after a couple of games, we started to get new equipment, new skates, regulation, gloves, elbow pads, the whole 9 yards. And we had the best of everything, really. Al Zebarth was our original coach, and he played with the Quebec Aces, which was a professional team. And he was the coach for, 2 or 3 years. And he brought in players. Terry and Harry Dunn, they were college players. They came a little later, but they were all, mostly the players that came in had prior experience, which made it great. I remember Mike and Greg Williams, his dad, he played for a while. And Wally Walworth, he was the director of hockey. He was a good hockey player. He played in college up in Boston, I believe. And he made a lot of contacts to bring players in. We had some players from St. Catharines, Ontario, and it didn't seem to ever be a shortage of players. I think they could get 12 or 1,500 people in there. And Friday nights and Saturday nights, it was always full. We used to practice on Wednesday night, and we had a player that came all the way from Toronto just to practice with us. Then he would go home, work a couple of days, and come back Friday night for the game. That was Bob Campbell. He is now not with us. He's passed away, but he would bring friends with him, and we had referees from St. Catharines, Ontario, where I had lived previously. So there was chicken wire at each end, but there was nothing along the sides. And so people in the stands, there were several of them got hit with a puck, One I recall was, she got cut pretty good, but they seemed to brave it, Then I think later on they got the glass. Well, I still remember the Okipi tournament in 1967, I believe it was. We came close to winning that tournament. We had beaten Buffalo on Saturday night, and that was a big achievement for us because we had trouble with them through the year. And that put us into the championship game on Sunday. And we came very close. I think we lost 3-2. But I got cut really bad in that game. In the second period, I got cut over the eye. They took me to the hospital, sewed me up, and I come back and I still had time to play the third period. But I didn't really feel like it. We had a lot of good ones. Harry Dunn was a very good player. Terry Dunn was a good player. Paul Gamsby, and Merle Falk. They were good players. And of course, the original team, Al Zebarth was a good player. I'm just trying to think. Bill Smith was a great defenseman. And we had let me see. Wally Walworth wasn't that bad. Of course, he liked to do a lot of backhanding and backhand shots. He would seem to, everybody teased him about it. But, and our last coach that we had, Jim Mickle, he had played with the New York Rangers. And he had been traded to Cleveland, and that's where he came to us from, Cleveland. But he was a professional player. You know? He played in the youth program ever since he was like 13 maybe. And right then, at that age, you could tell that he was going to be a good hockey player. And he was. He ended up playing with the Lions for several years while he was still in the youth program. And then he got a chance to go up to Guelph to play with the junior A team. And from there, he was drafted to, I believe, the Montreal Canadiens. Yeah. And he played with them long enough to earn 4 Stanley Cup rings. Then he got traded to New York, I believe, and then ended up in Edmonton. But he was a great hockey player. He was a defenseman. He had a shot like a bullet. Really good player. Nice guy, too. My oldest son, Rick, and my youngest son, Larry, they both were in the youth program. They were on the traveling team. Rick was an exceptionally smart hockey player, and Larry was steady. He was a good hockey player, but Rick was more of a standout. He studied the game. But I saw Larry play in a game, and he was very good. They both played with me in one Lions game. That was really something. The 3 of us on one line. I think we were short of players that night, and they put Larry and Rick on the line with me. And it was very good, very nice. You know, it's hard to play with your boys because if somebody bumps them, you want to get after them, you know, but you have to take that stuff. Being with a team, you can't explain what it is to be a member of a team. I don't think it matters what kind of a team, but it's the comradeship, you know, and the joking and the kidding, and it's just wonderful. And then all the fans, you know, we'd go out on the ice and the place was full, and they're cheering. It's a wonderful experience. The thing is, though, you know, Rich, it's been 40 years, and every once in a while somebody will say, "Oh, well, there's Charlie Locke," but not very often anymore. Well, I just appreciated all their support, and I became friends with many of them, and it was a wonderful experience in my life. I just sorry that everybody couldn't go through something like that, and I miss it a great deal.